Hi, everyone. My name is Desiree Anderson, CPA at Anderson Accounting and Tax. I help cannabis business owners minimize their tax liability through proper tax planning and proper accounting. Now, today, I would like to talk about two mistakes that most small businesses make, which causes them to pay more in taxes than they should. The first one is not properly planning, or the lack of proper planning. Now, one of the things that larger businesses do, and one of the reasons why larger businesses tend to pay less in taxes, is because they actually start planning at the beginning of the year, or some of them actually start planning 2 months before, being in November and December, for the subsequent year. Now, that's something that a lot of small businesses don't do. With smaller businesses, they tend to want to plan when they are actually having their tax return prepared. So when they figure out how much they owe, the next question is, what can I do to lower what I owe right now today? And I always tell my clients that by the time you come to me and I've prepared your tax return, at that point, it's too late for us to tax plan. Now, there are a couple of things that we can do to lower your tax liability in the moment, but for the most part, because you haven't done anything prior, or you didn't really plan prior, there's not much we can do because we can't make changes to things that have already occurred. So because of that, it's important that even as small businesses, you start planning at the beginning of the year. And in some instances, it's a great idea to start planning in November and December, because the more time you put in between the beginning of the year and when your tax return is due, the more that you can save when it comes to taxes, okay? The second thing is that smaller businesses, I should say, tend not to create strategic relationships with the types of service providers that can actually help them minimize their tax liability. So it's not a good idea just to meet with a tax accountant once a year when it's time to actually prepare your taxes. You want to have a relationship with your tax accountant all through the year so that they can help you minimize your tax liability. And really what's happening is they're helping you make decisions that will lower your tax liability, or they are preventing you from making decisions that will cause you to pay more in taxes than you should. Now, that said, there are three different types of, well, I should say 4 types of accountants out there. You have your financial accountant, who focuses mainly on the financial side. And then you have your tax accountant. And with a tax accountant, we can break that down into 3 different types. You have your tax resolution specialist. Your tax resolution specialist is a person that's going to help you resolve any tax problem that you may be having with the IRS or the state, or if you're under audit. Then you have your tax preparer. Your tax preparer is the person that helps you to prepare your taxes at the end of the year. And then you have your tax planner or your tax strategist. Now, your tax planner or your tax strategist is the person that is going to help you navigate through the waters of the tax code and help you make decisions throughout the year, or prevent you from making decisions throughout the year that will affect your tax liability in a positive way, okay? So the key is you want to make sure that you make the decisions that you make are going to be advantageous to you and your business at tax time. It's very difficult to do all of this during tax season. Number one, your accountant is probably too busy. Okay, number one, or number two, there is nothing he or she can do. Now, keep in mind that CPAs and accountants all specialize in different areas. So you may be working with a financial accountant who knows nothing about taxes. You may be working with a tax accountant who knows nothing about, financial accounting. But then at the same time, you might be working with an accountant who actually does all 4. They are financial accountants. They also prepare taxes. They offer tax resolution services, and they also offer tax planning strategies. Okay. So you want to have a conversation with your accountant to make sure that they are able to help you in all areas, because every area, the accounting side, I should say, is very important, because usually your tax accountant, or as you say, your tax planner, your tax strategist, cannot do their job if your books aren't in order. So you also have to have a financial accountant to make sure that your books are in order. So that way your tax planner or tax strategist can use that information to do what they have to do. And that being said, same thing with tax preparation. In order for you to have your taxes done, you have to have your books done properly. So even though accounting is broken down into several areas, everything builds on each other. One can't do their job without the other. So it's important that as cannabis business owners, that you hire tax accountants and financial accountants who are very familiar with the cannabis industry, because there are several nuances in this industry that your general accountant may not necessarily understand. Okay. So that's all I have for you. Thanks for listening in, and I'll see you next time.